results, and I just want to go through them with you quickly, and I'm going to go a little bit beyond that, but in every area we looked at, and Donna Arduin and Wayne Weingarten worked long hours on this. It's just as much theirs, in fact, probably more theirs than it is mine. But if you look at it, on taxes on labor, I mean, the top marginal personal income tax rate in California is 10.3%. And there are probably 5 bills in the legislature today to raise that rate because they don't have enough revenues. The highest personal tax rate in Texas is 0. I mean, Texas wins hand down on the tax on labor. Taxes on capital. I mean, if you look at property taxes, top marginal rate on dividends and on capital gains. Do you know what they tax capital gains at in California? 10.3% as well, the highest marginal rate. Do you know what it is in Texas? It's 0. I mean, when you look at this, when you look at all these, the top marginal corporate rate, top marginal corporate rate in California is almost 9%. You have a gross receipts tax here, which we'll talk about later. But you have a gross receipts tax here that's only 1%. That's maybe still a little too high, Governor. I like those zeros better than I did that one. Not just kidding, but just pushing. If you look at yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's in the right direction. It's the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite of my height. I used to be 6'3", and now I'm dropped down to 4. No, the taxes on consumption, state sales tax rate. California 7.25%. Texas 6.25%. But that doesn't tell the whole story. The governor has proposed that the state sales tax in California be raised by another 1% because they're running short on revenues. I'm going to go to a little thing. This is a case study, and how do they do that? If you look at all these others, you can see it that the overall tax environment, Texas wins hands down. If you look at the regulatory environment, Texas wins hands down. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, if you look at spending policies, Texas wins hands down. I have one little story, and forgive me for being so California-centric, because I lived there a lot of my life. If you look at California teachers, and I'm just going to talk about teachers' salaries in California. I'm not talking about total educational budget divided by number of teachers or any of that. This is just what you pay the primary education personnel in the K through 12 in the state of California. They are the highest paid teachers in the nation, bar none. And I mean it. California teachers are paid more than any other state's teachers, bar none. Test results for students. California is the 47th lowest in the nation, beat only, and I say beat, by Mississippi, Louisiana, and New Mexico. When you pay teachers that much, they should at least be able to beat Louisiana, New Mexico, and Mississippi. I mean, it is outrageous. Don't think that because you pay teachers more, you're going to get them to be better. High pay does attract good employees. That's true. But high pay also attracts bad employees. In fact, high pay attracts all employees. What you got to do is figure out a way of filtering the wheat from the chaff. And that's not what these systems do. Large classes with good teachers are far better than small classes with rotten teachers. You've got to look at judging, testing them. What's happened in California is this train has been derailed. And it's a sad testimony here. But let me just say that in every single area of economics we looked at, Texas beat California. Believe me when I tell you, this is not your God-given right to be better than California. If you stray from the straight and narrow, you'll lose just as California lost. You know, this is something you've got to keep your vigil on all the time and never let go. You can't let it go because it's not a genetic thing. It's not some gift. It's something you got to work hard to keep day and night, and that is your challenge going forward. Every year, when I first came to the state of Texas, I was an adjunct professor at Texas Tech. I had some fun up there and did that, and then I got involved when we did all the stuff with Reagan. Wendy, you remember all that stuff? And we had a guy out here named Eddie Childs who was driven. And of course, in the White House, I was the first chief economist at the OMB when it was formed in 1970 with George Shultz's right-hand person. And I can remember my hero in life was a guy named John B. Connolly, who was Secretary of the Treasury. In fact, at the Smithsonian Court, he put me on his shoulders. Can you imagine that? And carried me around. I love Texas. It's just loads of fun. And it's just great. This stuff, you got to focus on. You got to be on. It's straightforward, simple. I can remember in the early ones, Wendy, when we were doing that stuff when we were kids then. It's hard to imagine me being a kid. But my grandchildren say, Grandpa, when are you going to die? I want to turn around and slap them, but they're bigger than I am. But, I mean, if you remember that, how can you cut the tax rates like that? We need the money. And then you try to explain to them that in 1913 there was no income tax in the United States. How did they do that? How do they do that? I mean, you look at these places. I mean, you know, in 1965, New Jersey had neither an income tax nor a sales tax. They had a balanced budget. In fact, they were running surpluses. They were one of the fastest growing states in the nation. They were attracting people everywhere moving into New Jersey. Today, with one of my students, John Corzine is its governor. By the way, not my top student, let me just tell you. They have one of the highest sales taxes in the nation. They have one of the highest income taxes in the nation. They have the highest property taxes in the nation. They're running huge deficits. Their state is shrinking, and people are leaving en masse. How do they do that? You know, that's what this study supposedly tries to show you. I'm from Ohio. We had no income tax until 1974. We used to giggle and laugh. We had more of the Fortune 500 headquartered in Ohio than they did in New York. We were that. And then somehow they came in and they West Virginianized my home state. You look at Ohio today, it's a catastrophe. I mean, when you look at, let me just say that I want to stop here. You have a great governor. You have a great state. You have a great legislature. You've done a great job. The Texas Public Policy Foundation with Brooke and Wendy have done a fantastic job here in this state proselytizing truth, beauty, and the American way. But you got to keep working at it. God bless you and keep it going. Thank you very much.